believe.
Do you feel alone right now?
My elbow. I mean, I'd like to believe I'm not, but I've just never seen any proof, so I just don't debate it anymore. It's absurd.
The search for God is absurd.
It is if everyone dies alone.
I understand that you're scared, man.
Oh, that's the Woody Woodpecker song. Yeah, he's a-pecking it all day long.
Theodore, there's some things I want to tell you.
Alright, this is some smooth music we got going on here. The podcast, this is the Chillcast, brought to you by the Holo Herald. Today you're joined by the two chillest fellas you'll ever meet, Eric and Alex. We're bringing episode 20 to you guys today. We've got some sick topics for you guys. Everything from Magic Leap, which we always like to cover, to, royalty trying the HoloLens, and everything in between, from badly written articles to well-written articles, and I was screw that up and when I was making fun of other people. Anyways, welcome to this podcast. We stream live every Monday night. If you're joining us live, you already know that. If you're listening to the pre-recorded version, why don't you guys come over and join us for the live version? Just Monday nights, you can expect it. Depends. Varying times, sometimes it's later, sometimes it's earlier, but you can always guess it's going to happen on Monday nights. And if you're listening to the pre-recorded version, these get released every Friday, sometime during the day, and you should soon be available on all your favorite platforms. So, I didn't put the music down, it's fine. This should be available on all your favorite platforms, from iTunes to Google Play to YouTube, very soon. We're still getting that all worked out, but you guys can expect that very soon. And we're still looking for people to join our podcast. We're going to get to that soon. We're just waiting for life to settle down a little bit, and then we already got some cool interviews lined up, so be expecting that. But without further ado, let's get into it. Go ahead and introduce yourself, man.
Well, like the man said, it's me, Alex, here once again. And, super excited. We are at a pretty monumental landmark here. This is podcast number 20. So that is certainly very exciting, and like the man said, we have some pretty sweet topics. So let's jump right into them.
Yeah. So, yeah. Okay. Sorry. I guess we'll just start off with one of our opening articles that's not very mixed reality related, but it sounds very cool. So this is is by Newsmax. Chinese scientists teleport object. Now, do you want to take a crack at it, Alex? Explaining what this means.
I was hoping you would want to take a look at it. No, I'm totally kidding. So the joke we were making when we found this article was you have to have a doctorate in quantum physics to even understand what the article is talking about. But basically, what they're saying is Chinese scientists have reportedly teleported an object from Earth to a satellite 300 miles in space, which seems pretty revolutionary. I'm not sure why this isn't on headlines all over the globe.
We're dropping crazy. We're dropping frames.
Oh no!
We're dropping all the. Dude, why does the Wi-Fi do this sometimes? Oh, dead. Completely dead. We're gone. We're pooped. Oh, we're back. Oh, we're pooped. We're pooped. I'm gonna. All right, let's see until we're back up. Okay, we're back up. Let's hopefully this is a little bit better. Okay, sorry for that quick interruption. Anyways, we did a fan stream. We tried to see how long we could stream just our fan going back and forth for, and it went like a week or two without a single frame dropped. And then right when we start doing the podcast, all our frames start getting to drop. I don't know what's up with that. Anyways, yeah, Alex was just talking about the Chinese teleportation thing. It is a little confusing. The title makes it sound like they took like a banana and shot it up into space, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And reading the article, all it says is an object. They've teleported an object, but did you ever find where it says what they teleported?
I think it's just waveforms. I mean, I guess we can consider a waveform an object. I think, from what I understand, they just took like photons and made them exist at like two places at once, or lack of existing at two places at once, or I don't know exactly. Let me go. I'm just going to read part of it. Long-distance teleportation has been recognized as a fundamental element in protocols such as large-scale quantum networks and distributed quantum computation. So if anybody can explain what that means, feel free to leave a comment.
I think my brain just pooed a little.
I know, we think we're so cool and sophisticated with like HoloLens. We're like, oh yeah, we do mixed reality, man, and augmented reality. We're so far ahead of everybody else. And then these guys are literally teleporting objects around, and we think we're so cool. That's so funny. Time magazine said the Chinese experiment follows physicists successfully conducting the world's first quantum teleportation outside of a lab a year ago. Scientists at the time determined quantum teleportation, which is often depicted as a futuristic transportation tool associated with Star Trek movies, is actually possible, said Time. I don't know about this. An arbitrary unknown quantum state cannot be precisely measured or preferably replicated, said the Chinese researcher in this study published. You know what this sounds like? This sounds like people using really complicated words so we don't question them. And that's an actual tactic in debating and like presenting yourself, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, it's definitely working. Like, I'm a huge fan of teleportation, mostly from the first 10 minutes of X-Men 2.
I'd say we're the biggest fans of teleportation, man. Come on.
Oh yeah, straight up. But this is definitely working. Like, an arbitrary unknown quantum state cannot be just blah 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 blah. It's pretty impressive just how many words they. This you know, I have a lot of respect for this reporter who knows so much about quantum physics that he can write something like this. Like, it's almost more impressive they can write something like this. Don't you think?
Yeah, seriously. I mean, you'd have to be a tech person. Okay, it looks like it's also in time. Oh, it was playing a video. Okay. It looks like there's a Time article. Hopefully this one's a...
Life well spent.
I just paused you. Stop playing. Okay, scientists just teleported an object into space for the first time. This is reported by Time, so I mean, it's got to be official if it's Time, right?
Exactly.
Scientists have successfully teleported an object from Earth to space for the first time, paving the way for more ambitious and futuristic breakthroughs. Yeah, you found the article I'm talking about too.
Yeah, I did, and it just put automatically. That's not cool.
Yeah, I hate that. For about a month, the scientists beamed up millions of photons from their ground station in Tibet to the low orbiting satellites. They were successful in more than 900 cases. Sent up, wow, millions of photons. What it beamed up. I mean, it's almost like it's interesting. This leads us into our other discussion. We're not so much talking about the with this article. It's really awesome, and it just shows you how far into the future we really are that you don't even know it. You know, people like us and people listening to the podcast who would like to say that they are pretty forward-thinking and technologically inclined people, futuristically inclined, how out of the loop even we are in certain sectors, you know? I mean, and we don't even know what this means. But it's funny here. It says, like, it says beamed up, and then, like, what does beamed up mean? You know what I mean? But then it goes down and it says, like, really insane, complicated words. I don't know. It just seems, like, weird to pick some words to not make complicated and other ones. I'm not a writer, so I have no idea. Let me see.
Yeah, I'm trying to read it, but they go from teleportation to trying to describe something called quantum entanglement, which, like, I don't even know, man. One thing, though, I noticed at the very beginning of the article, they say that they beamed up millions of photons from their ground station to this low-orbiting satellite. And it says they were successful in more than 900 cases. So how does that mean they tried more than 900 times? Or does that mean out of the millions of photons that they beamed up, only 900 got to the satellite?
What just got, like, shot through my head while I'm sitting here? I'm just a lady's just cooking dinner one night and a photon just gets beamed into her head. What does beamed mean? I'm so curious what they mean by beamed, because when I think beamed, I'm like, beam me up, Scotty, you know, from Star Trek, you know.
That's the first thing that I think of,
and
too.
I imagine it like, and then they say other really confusing words. See, it's just interesting to me to pick and choose which words to make complicated and which words to not make complicated, and I don't know. I feel like they should tell me what beamed up is before they teach me what quantum entanglement is. Wouldn't you? That would be like the progression of learning how to teleport things.
Yeah. Baby steps, Eric. Baby steps.
So, anyways, that's an interesting article. To kind of lead us into our next topic, we have an article on the other side of article integrity. I don't know how to write it. How do I, like, rate the intelligence of an article? We have an article up from dailymail.co.uk. I'm going to read you the title for this because the title just blows my mind. It's just makeup. Duchess of Cambridge insists she's not beautiful or perfect as she meets adoring fans in Warsaw after collapsing into giggles when William donned a VR headset. Holy cow, that is a mouthful for a title of an article. Should we start naming our YouTube videos like that?
Oh, exactly. Because I think, yeah, like, it just occurred to me that is a title. Like, that is a lot of title there. Like, that's almost a paragraph. And, like, I just barely clicked on the link that you gave me, right? And it popped up, and I realized what you were reading was not an excerpt from the article; it was the title.
No, yeah, exactly. That's like what they're leading with. That's like a YouTube video. That's like if we said, "It's not just a HoloLens." Alex of the Holo Herald insists he's not mixed reality, or as he meets adoring fans in. Where would you meet?
In Warsaw.
You would meet. Okay, I was trying to think of something better than Warsaw, but okay. Alex meets
Silicon Valley. How's that?
There you go, Silicon Valley. After collapsing into giggles when Alex's boyfriend donned a VR headset. I mean, look, could you imagine if we did this? I feel like this breaks so many rules. There's no writing rules anymore. I don't know. News is fake news and all, and crappy news is covered enough in media. We don't need to get on that. Anyways, the exciting part of this is after collapsing into giggles when William donned a VR headset. Wow, doesn't that just sound riveting, Alex? Let's go see what kind of VR headset he donned. I mean,
I want to see it.
He's the prince, for heaven's sakes. The prince. I mean, there's no higher position on Earth than being the prince. Oh, that looks like a HoloLens, and a Meta.
Yeah.
Where's him trying the VR headset?
I don't see a VR headset anywhere, man.
There's so many pictures of them.
So many pictures of HoloLens and Meta, but I don't see anything VR, dude. Do you?
No, I don't. This article's, holy cow. Okay, this article is like really long. Just click on it and you guys can see how long it is. Let's go ahead and I'm going to Control F this bad boy. Now let's search HoloLens. Whoa. What is that? It doesn't say HoloLens single. Okay, it's got to say like augmented reality, don't you think? I mean, come on, VR is just a clickbaity word. Nobody's going to click on an AR or an MR thing. I understand that. Let's see if they say AR anywhere in the article. Well, they say Warsaw and party a lot. That's kind of a hard one to search for. Or do AR head. Nope. Not a single reference of AR. Wait, there's a Meta. They gotta say Meta. I mean, it's a small company. They gotta give credit. Not a single... What is that?
Not so much an honorable mention.
Out of 60 photos of them wearing a HoloLens and a Meta, there's not a single mention of the device or the technology's name or any of that. But they got to explain what it is. Maybe I'm just not searching correctly. Rise of the virtual reality headset. The VR headset that the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge tried out today is just one example of the futuristic gadget craze that continues to sweep the nation. Ooh, exciting. Sales of the high-end VR, virtual reality. Oh, thank God we wouldn't have known what VR meant without that. Headsets including Facebook's. Oh, okay. Nope. Oh, they can tell us where to get a $10 one, though. Yeah. Oh, this is just...
Not a $3,000 one?
Not a $3,000 one. Okay, sorry. We ran the joke on long enough. What we're getting at is two variations of writing. And we wish that there was a... Well, about like... I don't know. Do we give the author too hard of a time? I mean, they are writing about the present. Are we giving them too hard of a time?
Well, I mean, this is kind of a tabloid article, I feel like, where anybody who cares enough about what on earth the Duke and the Duchess are doing, I don't even know their names, they're probably not going to give too, they're not going to care about the HoloLens or the Meta. But at the same time, and this is an article, like they don't even know what it is they're talking about. Like in the pictures, they say, Duchess so-and-so looks at this piece of technology. Like, that's all it is. Like, they've put no, like, research and no time into this.
Exactly. I mean, the focus of the article is them talking about, well, maybe not the focus, but a focus of a section of the article is on the HoloLens, even though they don't say that anywhere in it. They don't say HoloLens or the type of technology. I mean, this has got 3,000 likes, over 1,000 comments. I mean, it's updated. It's been updated multiple times since it's been out. So it's just kind of an interesting... It's interesting how people just kind of look over the technology in general. I feel like if I was the people demoing this to the princess and the prince, or the Duke and the Duchess, I don't know what the correct term for them is, I feel like I would be kind of offended, because we've had that kind of same thing happen to people, where people write articles about our stuff and they get stuff insanely wrong, or they don't do any research. But then we have a couple good articles. I think Vice wrote an article about us. I think that's probably the most well-written article we've had, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, that was pretty sweet too when we found that out.
Mm-hmm. On Vice, their motherboard section, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, because like that's kind of a big deal. I think we all kind of patted ourselves on the back when we saw that Paul had been featured in a Vice magazine. He's like, that's dope, that's going on my resume.
I mean, might as well. They say his name and they say our Holo Herald and stuff like that. So I mean, okay, so I pose this question to Alex and to our listeners out there. What do you guys think? Do you guys think it's an what the heck is an author? Jeez, I could not think of that word for the life of me. Do you think it's an author's obligation to get the technology right, or do you think it's really not that important? Apples and bananas, or I mean apples or bapples or
apples and oranges.
Apples and oranges, you know what I mean? It's not a big deal. Or the technologies to the greater world are close enough together where in the end it doesn't really matter and we're just making something out of nothing. What do you think, Alex?
I feel like we could be making something out of nothing because honestly, like you and me, like we've been doing this for a while now. You longer than I have, but like you and me, we've been doing this long enough to know the difference, but at least somewhat of a difference between AR, MR, and VR. So like all these people that like dedicate their lives to knowing what the Duke and the Duchess or the Prince of England is doing, like people that dedicate their lives to doing that, they're probably not going to care quite yet what the difference is between AR, MR, and VR.
Do you think this hurts the potential like onboarding of it? Do you think like you think someone sees that and they think, oh, cool, what is that? But they have no ability to search it. Do you think that's like detrimental to the growth of the technology or in the acceptance of general? Because, I mean, this is a pretty big step forward as the technology with people very, very, very important public figures like these two trying the technology. I mean, what they have to say and their reaction to it is very important to how other people are going to view the technology. But yet, if people don't know what the technology is, I feel like that could probably hurt it, since there's no clear. Do you think this has like an impact? Like I said, there's 2,000 likes and there's over 1,000 comments. Do you think people seeing this will have an impact on the way they view the technology if they say they saw someone wearing it in public or they got the opportunity to try one?
It very well could. Because, I mean, we've seen Magic Leap, for example, try something similar to this, only we haven't gotten any pictures.
Yeah, that would be cool.
But yeah, I feel like this would be kind of a very big deal because, like you said, there are like 2,000 likes and over 1,000 comments.
Yeah.
So just like if there was like so much as a small citation at the bottom for HoloLens and Magic Leap, I feel like a few people, I'm not sure how much of a percentage, but a few people out of the 2,000 that have seen this, they're probably going to want to see, hey, what is the HoloLens or what is the Meta? And then they're going to know what it is and they're going to think, oh, that is cool. I can't wait for it to come out. But since the only thing that the HoloLens and Meta were labeled as, and I'm using labeled pretty generously, they're only labeled as VR or technology.
Yeah.
And I feel like that could hurt. So I mean, as MR gets bigger, I would hope that that reporters and authors kind of start figuring stuff out and realize this is worth getting right.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, at least for more our public figures, like if someone like the president or I get what would you equate the Dutch and the Duchess? I guess we have like actors. I think that's probably the closest we have to the Duke and the Duchess, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, because these people have no political sway in anything. All they do is just walk around, smile, and attend lavish balls and dinner parties.
Dude,
so I feel like, yeah, like basically like for like a Beyonce and Jay-Z kind of power couple, so to speak. Like, yeah, it'd be pretty sweet to see, somebody writing about Jay-Z and Beyonce trying this on, but getting it right.
Oh yeah, you're so right. Yeah. So I guess that's kind of the equivalent. Like if we were reading an article here about them, I don't know. It's just interesting to see public figures using it. That is kind of exciting for the technology, though, that it's getting out to outreach. Like, what if Prince Egbert, I don't know his name, I should probably say this right because I'm making fun of people for not saying HoloLens correctly, so I should probably get my
Prince William.
for Prince William to try that, it's pretty cool. It's pretty exciting. Anyways, I guess it's just a question to pose to our listeners out there. Whose obligation is it? Or does it even really matter? What's one of our other articles? I'm missing one, am I not?
We have quite a few. Is there a specific one you're looking for?
No, just hit me with one. Let's do it. Let's roll it out.
Is it too early for Magic Leap drama, or
Is that even a question?
because well, I don't know, because that's usually the cherry on top, the cherry at the end of our podcast. So, I mean, the night is still young, but I mean, if you want, we can dive right in because we have plenty of dirt on them.
Let's do it. I love my Magic Leap drama. I mean, it's basically what we feed off of. So let's do it. Let's bring out the dessert of the podcast.
All right. So this article is by Engadget, and the title is considerably smaller. And it goes as follows. Magic Leap is still figuring out what mixed reality is.
This came out earlier this week, written by Jamie Rigg. I don't know if he has any. I don't know who he is, but anyways, the startup's chief game wizard believes everyday adventure is key to the new medium. Interesting. All right, so can you sum it? Have you looked over it yet?
Yeah, I've looked over a little bit, and like Ronnie Abovitz is talking about the HoloLens like it's I don't know. I don't even know what like the way he talks about the Magic Leap. It talks like it's a being. He's like Magic Leap still isn't quite sure what mixed reality is. It's still trying to figure that out, and it's it's in a pretentious way. He's saying what they're doing is going to define what MR is. It's like basically based on what their end product is, that's mixed reality, which is a heck of a thing to say because they've only shown this to a select few celebrities, but he's talking about how like Magic Leap is going to be like the TV.
Yeah, okay.
How like there's going to be like kind of a slow evolving. That's going to start out relatively primitive, but like more and more people are going to get it, and as time goes on, the bigger it's going to get, and it's going to be in every household. So, I mean, they obviously see this going places, but that, I mean, for a bunch of tech junkies, like having a title that says Magic Leap doesn't know what MR is, that's not very good.
Magic Leap, the company. Okay, I think this is kind of dangerous. This just provided a good point. I think this is kind of dangerous because their product name and their company name are the same thing. So is he saying Magic Leap the company or Magic Leap the product doesn't know what it is? He's saying Magic Leap doesn't know what MR is, like the company. See, it's kind of hard, isn't it?
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. Does Ronnie Abovitz know what MR is?
Or does his device not know? So, dude, this is freaking hilarious, though. This is going to blow your mind. If you scroll all the way to the bottom, guess what they used to define mixed reality? Do you read that right there?
Yeah, I saw that a little earlier today.
MR is Star Wars. That's a long inside joke. If you guys get that joke, you guys are the real OGs, and we'll be sending you guys a free HoloLens if you guys know what that joke means. But yeah, we won't send you a free HoloLens. Disclaimer.
2 days from now, #1 HoloLens fan is going to be like, "Oh, that's that one time when Austin said the MR is Star Wars."
Now everybody knows the joke, though, dude. You gave it up.
Oh, but they got to know which podcast it's in.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if you can find out what podcast that's said in, we'll send you a free HoloLens asterisk. See the fine details for the asterisks later on.
Restrictions apply.
Restrictions apply. No, it can be Harry Potter. It can be Finding Dory, and I can. This is okay. Let's delve into this state. Is this Ronnie that's saying this? I don't know who's saying this, but I'm just gonna read it because it's an interesting read. And it could be Star Wars. It could be let's start from up here. The key thing is everyday adventure. Devine continues. Things you might actually want to do with Alice every single day. And it could be Star Wars, it could be Harry Potter, it could be Finding Dory. And I can be a lawyer, and I can be a plumber, I can work at Starbucks. I will have everyday adventure added to my life by an app store of realities. What is that word? This is
Realities, yeah, you got
okay.
it.
This is likely a long way off, though. Remember, the seed of what mixed reality could be. Iteration in a new medium is a must. It will take us time to get there, to that conversation, to Alice being real. But I see it in my wanderings. It's coming. It's there. We will have that. So I mean, he's just. You could say this with any technology. We could go back to the teleportation and say this. Oh, teleportation will be the future, but iteration is a must. He's just stating the life cycle of a technology. This is what kind of gets me about Magic Leap, is they just find new fanciful ways to say things that have already been said. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, it's just a lot of fluffiness. Like, they just keep repeating themselves in, like, extremely creative ways, granted, but they just keep saying, Magic Leap is dope. Magic Leap is incredible. It's going to be great. It's almost ready to be released, but not quite yet. But by the way, it's going to be incredible, and everyone's going to love it. And that's all they say, you know?
So this is, and like, there's the picture. You see the picture. We'll post this in the chat, and this will be in the link dump. Please, I forgot to mention the link dump, but yeah, you guys have already found the link dump if you guys are here. Anyways, I'm going to post this in the live chat for all one listeners, Kayvon, that's out there. Anyways, do you see that picture of the one that's like? So go ahead and open up the article if you guys are there, and he's got like an infographic about mixed reality. Do you see the one I'm talking about? It says mixed reality is the mixture of the real world and virtual worlds so that one understands the other. This creates experience that cannot possibly happen anywhere else. I hate people's definitions of mixed reality. I hate them. Like Graham Devine, he's probably a freaking like a genius dude, you know. But it just feels like more fluff. Last week we talked about nomenclature and like definitions of words, did we not?
Yes, we did.
And I think we got into it pretty in depth there, so I don't think we really need to cover it again. But I've just been thinking about it more than ever recently, this past week, as I've been on the Holo Developer Slack and reading more about new technologies and stuff like that, and new startups that are getting into the game. It just seems now more than ever that we need a solid definitions of mixed reality, especially with so many companies coming out of it. I got a website idea. You ready for a genius website idea, Alex?
Oh, yeah, hit me with it.
I think we should do it, but I'm going to say it to all our listeners out there that are totally not going to get to this part of the podcast. So I think there needs to be a website where, because I think, do you think it's the company's obligations or the community's obligations to set these definitions?
That's a very good point. I feel like maybe the company.
Really? I was going to say the community.
Really, because everybody's looking to the company. You know, and I feel like the company should, for Microsoft, for example, has a lot more sway, I feel like. Because, I don't know, like, they've already got the following, they've already got the notoriety. But, for example, if someone like Shanong, for example, was to have, like, this, like, the constitution of VR, MR, AR, and, like, we get this whole revolution, and, like, all the magic, or all the MR Slack, and, like, the whole community gets together, like, this is how it is and this is how it's going to be. If something, unless something like that happens, I feel like it would be a company that should probably write out the definitions.
But now we have like multiple companies going at it. I mean, Magic Leap's saying their definition of it. ARKit's saying their definition of it. Microsoft has said theirs, and they're all different. And so I think it kind of. Okay. I think we can find a happy medium. I think it's the company's obligation to set their definition, and I think it's the community's obligation to decide if they accept that or not. Does that make sense? And to pick which one of those ones that they like. Because now Magic Leap's come out and said theirs, and a bunch of other people have said theirs. I think it's now, as a community, as a collective, it's our obligation to band together and pick one of those ones to go by. Don't you think?
Yeah,
Do you think
that's
like
actually a really good idea. Yeah.
So I think a website idea would be great. Is it's got all of like, it's basically Urban Dictionary, but just for reality words, because we really need that. And you know how on Urban Dictionary you can go on and the highest upvoted one is the definition, you know, because I think these definitions will be variable as the technology grows, so I don't think it's very appropriate for a hard set definition to come in and stand in right now. I think we should have like a guideline, but then that actual definition can slightly fluctuate depending on the technology and the time period, right? So I think we should build a website where you come in and you can search which word, you can put any word you want in front of mixed reality, because there's going to be so many different versions of it. I mean, in front of the word reality. Virtual reality, augmented reality, mixed reality. And then you have like a layman's term definition, and then like a link to an extremely lengthy write-up, like a Wikipedia article version definition.
Absolutely.
Don't you think it'd be helpful? And then everybody can go and upvote, and then the one with the most upvotes gets the highest one.
Yeah, that's actually a really good idea.
So I think we should make that, because I want to start crapping the Holo developers Slack. I just want to like get in there and be like, yo guys, what's the definition of MR for reals? And just watch all the shots get fired across. Don't you think it'd be pretty? It's like a cat fight for nerds, wouldn't you think?
Oh yeah, just hit enter and then, pop some popcorn, sit back and just watch as the Slack just like collapses in on itself.
Yeah, so we'll do that. We'll get the website all built though, so they can have their arguments on there. But so if you guys want to beat me to making that website, go ahead. I don't really care who makes it as long as it's made. I just think it's something that needs to be made, and I happen to have the idea to do it. So because I think that could be really helpful, because just going back to that article, the reason that lady, maybe she knew it was a HoloLens, maybe she knew it was augmented reality, but she's like, none of my users are going to know it, and if I say it, I'm just going to get so much crap on what it is, like we do. What do you think of the results of our HoloLens versus water test?
Geez, I don't know, dude, because it just really crazy, like what happened,
Yeah, I think we were all expecting radically different results. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah. For those of you that haven't seen our video yet, which I highly recommend watching, or this, so that this will make more sense. What we did is we did a couple of different tests, mainly to see how well the HoloLens would scan over murky water and how it would scan over clear water. We were all dropping bets that it would probably scan pretty well in the murky water. But both tests were conclusively similar in that as soon as you could no longer see the ground beneath the surface of the water, the HoloLens instantly stopped scanning. It's just like a fine line, like where the scan would stop, which was pretty impressive.
Yeah, no, you're super right. And I definitely thought with clear water it was going to scan through, didn't you?
Yeah, because where we were at, we went to a public swimming pool, and the water where we were standing was only 3 or 4 feet deep, and you could plainly see the bottom. But it was not able to scan through the water at all, even though it was a translucent. Even though the water was translucent, there was no the HoloLens could not scan at all.
It was
so yeah.
I liken it to the HoloLens versus fog video. Do you remember that one?
Yeah,
I think
a little bit.
We were pretty spot on with our hypothesis and what we thought was going to happen there. When the fog was not very thick, it would shine right through. But in the parts where the fog was thick and you couldn't really see through it, the HoloLens would see that as mesh. It would mesh over that. It would see that as an object. And I thought the same results were going to happen with water, because it only makes sense, right? If you can see through it, the HoloLens can see through it. If you can't see through it, the HoloLens can't see through it.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is what I would believe would happen, but totally not. And we're still waiting. It's only been out for like a couple hours, but I'm really excited to see the people's hypothesis and stuff like that. Maybe we should drop it. If we don't get enough results, we can drop it in the Holo developers Slack and see what those people think about it, because I'm curious.
That's a really good idea. I feel like maybe regardless we should do that, just to see what more and more people will think, because that's really crazy. Like, even though we could see through the water, like it could not scan water at all, no matter how murky or no matter how clear. Like, water has kind of proven to be the Achilles heel of the HoloLens, but we don't know why. And that's the worst part about it, because this is a big deal. Like this anomaly that we've discovered that we can't explain. Just kind of salt to the wound.
And some of the comments were like, I'd hoped far better scanning in clear, steady water. At least the bottom of the pool, maybe the light. Don't know. And I think I don't think we should like hate on the HoloLens for this. I don't think there should be any like, oh man, the HoloLens, I wish it would have done better, because who's going to be using this near water? You know what I mean? No one's going to carry their $3,000 HoloLens anywhere near water. Am I right?
Oh, I would hope not, dude. When we went, because right before we scanned along the boat launch, we went on this little jetty that just kind of floated on the water. It was attached to the dock, but floated on the water, so it was pretty uneven. And I was wearing the HoloLens, and I was doing baby steps, dude. I did not dare take my feet off the ground, even though I had like 3 feet of jetty on either side of me. I did not want to look over the side. Like it was scary, dude. It was really scary.
Just like slowly, just imagine it. Like the one time you didn't clip it, and is the one time you're above water.
Yeah, I stick my head over the edge and look straight down. Hey, let's see if it.
Dude, I remember you said that was really funny when we were doing the tire video. When you were cranking the tire, you just like, what if the HoloLens was like, woo, and just clashed forward.
Just slid from my head.
Dude, I would kill to do a durability test of the HoloLens, dude. I mean, there's no way in heck we ever could or would. But I would love to see a durability test. See like how scratch resistant the glass is, how bend resistant, drop it, maybe dunk it in some water. I don't know. I think it'd be fun, but there's no way that could ever happen.
Yeah, there's actually a local company here by where we live. They build computers and they just like handheld and handheld tablets. But these like hardcore. This is like hardcore hardware for just like rangers and for like the Forest Service and for a lot of people working in the agriculture industry. So like they have these computers that are proven to be durable. And like the tests, my cousin works for them, and the tests that they run through, like they'll drive cars over it.
Oh my
they'll shoot shotguns and they'll shoot various calibers of bullets, like just like extremely unorthodox things. Like you said, yeah, they'll dunk them in water and stuff like that because like they have to be proven. The durability has to be proven.
Yeah, could you imagine doing any of those tests with the HoloLens? That's a genius idea though that you bring up. That would be a great company to start. Is because you can buy like waterproof cases for your phone. You can buy really nice screen protectors for your phone, but there's nothing like that. There's some stuff similar to that for VR, but there's nothing like that for AR headsets, and I think that'll be really important. Like, what'll be really necessary is a extremely clear and transparent scratch-proof layer to put around it, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, exactly, because, like, granted, like, a lot of people are pushing that HoloLens, at least for now, is not going to be given to the general public. Their focus is corporations and big business.
Ooh,
like big
business.
Yeah, exactly. And it like HoloLens isn't always going to be used in the office. People are like, oh, engineers can use it or mechanics can use it. Like if this is going to leave the office and go into the shop,
ooh,
like there has to be some sort of quality.
Could you imagine some of your coworkers? I mean, just some of your tools. And I mean, it's not your coworkers necessarily. It's just the environment. It's a very tough environment where you work. Could you imagine a HoloLens? How would you imagine an unprotected HoloLens would fare? Like, how long would it last before it got completely unusable?
Oh, geez, I don't know.
Let's say you were using it every day for practical reasons. There was an app you would use, to help detail cars or whatever.
Or just to fix a car or something.
Just fix a car or whatever.
There's just always something that's going to happen. You could be working and all of a sudden your wrench gets messed up or something you're trying to take out breaks. And just like from all the tension, like you have no idea where it's going to go, So, I mean, it could be like a week, 2 weeks, maybe a day. It's just kind of a luck of the draw thing. But that is not, like, the HoloLens is not something you'd want to just have, you know? Like, you'd have to have, like, a protective layer or some sort of coating over it to protect it from a lot of crazy things, because there's just no set rule, you know, of what's going to happen to you that day.
Exactly. With a phone, it's kind of easy. It's like it's a tablet. You hold it. You put a case around it. You basically put it in a box. But building a rig, a headset to be more durable is definitely a bigger task. And we're not the first ones to think of that. I mean, there's multiple other startups, isn't there? Yeah, there's like Daiquiri and stuff who build like full helmets and like safety glass versions of them and stuff like that. I guess you could have like a safety glass version. You wear glasses sometimes, correct?
Yeah. If I'm like using a torch to cut something, or I'm trying to grind something off, I generally use glasses. But I hardly ever do that. So like in my line of work, what I do, not generally, but somebody else, or like the mechanics who work there, like they definitely want something every so often.
And in everyday life, do you wear glasses sometimes, correct?
Oh yeah, in everyday life, yeah.
How often? I don't use glasses. How often do you replace a pair of glasses? Because they're very expensive, aren't they?
Yeah, if you don't know where to get them, or the right place to get them, they can be pretty dang pricey. But I can usually, if things go well, I can usually milk out a year and a half.
Oh, that's it? I was expecting way longer than that.
Well, I'm not the most, I don't know, I can be a little reckless sometimes. But
that's
yeah,
an
like
everyday
I'd go,
user.
and my eyes actually gradually, like over the course of probably 15 years, my eyes have gradually gotten worse and worse. So I have to replace them about every year and a half. So I guess I'm kind of a bad reference, but somebody with steadier steadier vision would probably be a little bit better to ask, because yeah, I've had to change them a lot more.
Oh, wow, interesting. So, okay. Well, I mean, that's a fair use case. I mean, people replace their phones yearly due to scratches and stuff like that, but this will be a much more hard use environment. I don't know. I'm just intrigued. I wonder in the future what because the headband's pretty nice on the HoloLens, but I could see after like daily use, after like 6 months, it'd probably get pretty grimy and not very good. You'd have to replace that. You know, I think the headsets are gonna have to be quite modular, you know, with replaceable parts, either replaceable lenses, replaceable glass, replaceable headbands. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what the final devices end up looking like, you know, even if they're bulky. How small do you think a device is going to have to get until it is like socially acceptable to wear? Because we just recently went and did HoloLens in public, and the reactions weren't terrible, but I mean, it was definitely out of place. Is that how you would put it?
Yeah, exactly. Like nobody like flat out came up to you and said, "What is that on your head?" But I mean, me and Austin, like Eric was the brave soul to stroll through the supermarket one night, and
Dude, after the Prince did it, I just felt like I could. You know what I mean?
oh yeah, anything's possible. But Austin and me, we trailed Eric. We were about 20 or 30 or so feet behind Eric, so it made it look like we weren't really with him. And we like scanned the crowd and we watched as people passed him and came towards us. Like two guys passed Eric and like started like whispering amongst themselves. And the closer they got to me and Austin, we could hear them. And they're like, oh, I didn't know. And they actually knew what it was. Like people were like, I didn't know you had to you could shop with those. I thought it was on like engineering stuff. It was pretty funny. But yeah, it to address your question, Eric, I'm not sure if size really matters. I think it matters how many people are doing it. Because the more people that do it, the less people are going to care.
That's a very good point. That's a very good point. So it's more. It could look it could look like the most ridiculous thing in the world, but as long as everybody's doing it, it's okay. Is that basically what you mean?
That's what I feel like, and that's how I feel. You know.
Yeah, you're totally right. Yeah, it was pretty funny, you know, to do the HoloLens in public thing. People, they didn't want. It was hard because with the forward-facing camera, people wouldn't stare at me just because that's very normal. I mean, you don't stare at people. You know, we have a great culture around here. You don't just stare at people, even if they're different. So people wouldn't stare at me, but I definitely felt like people were looking at me behind my back. You know, you were behind me. Were people like, did people ever turn around and watch me while I was clicking when I wasn't looking at them?
Yeah, a few times, not a whole lot. It's almost like they tried to ignore you, just to avoid staring, I was really disappointed. I was hoping we'd get a little bit more feedback. But a few people did look at you kind of funny. You scored quite a few looks from a few different people.
Yeah, there was
I think Austin me counted 46 or 47 weird looks over the course of about 45 minutes through the store.
Oh, that's one a minute though. That's pretty impressive. Weird look. That's a lot more than I thought it was. I felt pretty natural. Nobody looked at me weird. You know, they'd glance at me, but nothing out of place. Hey, Joe, we need to put it on you because you stand out a little bit more here because you're really tall, and so we definitely need to put it on you and have you walk around.
Actually, when we went to the swimming pool, the public pool to get the HoloLens versus water footage, a few people called us out. I don't know if it was because it's kind of a more intimate setting, just like a swimming pool. There are a lot more families there, relaxing. Mm-hmm. That kind of gave people a little bit more courage to stand out because people flat out asked us what are you doing? What is that?
We missed a great opportunity for an intro, I realized, too, there, because we just kind of blew those people off. We're like, we're just doing a project, because it is kind of a lengthy lengthy process to explain the HoloLens, especially when you're around a pool, people are wet, you want to be very cautious. You don't want we can't offer for people to try it on there or anything like that, so it's kind of hard to explain. So we kind of blew them off, but I wish we would have. We should have done something, because that would have made a really good intro to do that. Probably the best reaction we got. Probably the best reaction we got on using HoloLens in public, which should come out on Saturday, was there was two ladies just standing there, and I was looking at some food in front of them, and they look over at each other and what is that? You know, what is that? What is he wearing? And this employee at Walmart walks up and goes, That's one of them damn 3D glasses."
It's close.
It's one of them damn 3D glasses. I was like, oh, dude, that's so awesome that he came up and started a little conversation about it. And it kind of, I think what would have helped, I think we should retry it maybe go out and try one more time and see if we could get some more footage. But a few more times, because, if we cut down that 15, 30 minutes we did of that, we're probably only going to get 2 minutes of decent footage, if that. I think I should wear headphones next time or something, because I feel like people will be much more obliged to talk about me behind my back if I have headphones on and they think I'm not listening. Wouldn't you think so?
Yeah, I agree. Because I'm going to get a little weird here and cite Fight Club. The writer for Fight Club said one of his inspirations for writing the screenplay, based off of the novel, but for writing the screenplay was he got in a fight over the weekend, and that Monday showed up to work with an enormous black eye, and nobody would ask him about it. He wanted so bad for people to ask him so he could tell them, oh yeah, I got in a fight, but nobody would address him. Nobody talked about it, and he came to the conclusion it's because nobody wanted to start a conversation with him. Nobody wanted to leave their little sphere of comfort and initiate something with him. So maybe it could be something similar to that with the HoloLens. You have this enormous space-age, HoloLens on your noggin while you're buying groceries at Wally World, and nobody came up to you and asked you, what is that on your head?
Nobody did. Which I think people, though, especially when I'm shopping, I'm looking around, I'm looking at products, I feel like, I don't know, I think we need to find another situation where it is more politically correct to come up and interrupt me, because you're not going to interrupt somebody while they're in the middle of their shopping and stuff like that. But we did see when we went to a restaurant, and I ordered at a restaurant, just a fast food chain, I was walking around waiting for my food to get ready and stuff like that, and we totally started a conversation at this table, wouldn't you? I was trying not to look at them, so I couldn't see what they were happening, but you were watching from the outside. What did you see?
Yeah, I was filming from the car, and this family, or like they were this like group of friends, four or
group of
five friends, were sitting at this table. What?
No, you're good. Go ahead. Continue.
Oh, this group of friends was sitting at this table about 10 or so feet away from Eric, with his back to him, and they're like whispering amongst themselves, staring. The guys on the bench were like looking behind their backs to get a glimpse at Eric. It was pretty funny. It's pretty funny. Like you could instantly tell. Like I wasn't even in the restaurant, and I knew exactly what they were talking about.
Yeah. This guy, he's like using all his hands, and he was like waving them in front of his face, trying to explain it to his friends what it was. That's kind of exciting, you know. I think that's the real sign of a cool tech when it can inspire conversation like that. Tuck Siver just joined us. I'll read a couple of his comments really quickly. I liked the water experiments. He says he likes the water experiments. The water experiments were really fun to film, actually, and we talked about it earlier in the podcast, but it was a video that we've been putting off making for quite a long time, but we haven't made. Sorry, there's a lot going on right now. It's been a video that we've been putting off for making for quite a while, but I'm really happy we made it. Aren't you, Alex?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's something just like... I don't know, like, it's worth doing right, and I finally got to the point where I figured out what we needed to do, and even though the results were not quite what we expected, it's good to finally get an answer.
Exactly. A lot of people have been asking about it. Left a few ideas there. Sweet. That's what we've been looking for. We love making the breaking reality videos. They're like the one thing we're willing to do that nobody else is really willing to do is the breaking reality series, and it's what really separates us apart from the competition, which there really isn't any competition. But anyways, so leave us as many breaking reality ideas as you guys can. And then he comes down, aching back to the other conversation. People freaked out about the Google Glass, but I think maybe the HoloLens is just too WTF. Is that to be as confronting as the Glass was? I think that's a good point. I remember when the Google Glass was really popular, there was a lot of videos of people confronting people with the Google Glass and saying, "Are you recording me? Take that off. Don't look at me." What a way to kill a tech. I think that's probably the fastest way you can kill a tech is ostracizing the people that are using the tech. Wouldn't you say, Alex?
Yeah, you know. Like, yeah, I remember watching a lot of those videos where people just like, hey, like, don't stop recording me. You know, just like completely just blowing things out of proportion and taking things so personally and seriously that just like it almost like makes me want to wear it less, you know.
No, you're so right. And I think that's probably the major thing that killed it, because the technology was quite cool actually, but I think the public's reception, not even the people using the technology, it was just the public that totally ruined it. And I hope that doesn't happen to headset devices, but the HoloLens doesn't look like it records you, even though I was recording people in public. You know, it doesn't look like you're getting recorded with it, and therefore I think it's a lot more, or it's too futuristic. Like he says, it's just too WTF. Is that, you know? Would you agree with Tuck on that?
Yeah, I think so, because I remember when Google Glass first came out, I remember reading something about how a lot of the big casinos, like in Las Vegas, like Caesar's Palace, was the big one that like banned Google Glass.
Oh wow!
Like, you could not go into the casino wearing a Google Glass. Like you couldn't so much as bring one close to it. But I haven't. I mean, we perused the internet looking for MR articles, and no one has said anything about the HoloLens. So either nobody's brought a HoloLens through a casino, or
should we do that?
That should be our next breaking reality. HoloLens versus
Pit Boss is what it's going to be. It's
exactly.
It's going to be Eric's shins Eric's shins versus the Pit Boss is what that video will be. That'd actually be interesting.
Yeah, two bruisers come up on either side of you while you're spinning at the roulette table, and they drag you kicking and screaming into this room. And that's the last time me and Austin ever see you. Dude,
that would be an interesting video. Not the me dying part, but actually seeing. That's a good video. That could be fun. Maybe we need to make a quick trip to Vegas.
Yeah.
I'll just be like, it's for my eyesight, man. I mean, it helps me see, man. I'm handicapped. No, I don't want to pretend to be handicapped people or anything like that. But I could just be like, yo, it's for my eyesight, man, or my hearing, or the White Cane app. I'm blind and I need
Dude, exactly. Dude, let's do it with me, dude, because without glasses or contacts, I'm practically legally blind. So if I just mobbed around with the White Cane app open through the Bellagio or something,
You sit down at a blackjack table. It was like, why are you playing blackjack if you're blind? That would go so badly for us.
I'll have you whisper in my ear what the cards are.
Oh, that does not look sketchy at all. You're wearing a HoloLens and I'm sitting next to you whispering things into your ear. Oh, man. That sounds like a good way for us to get our asses kicked, dude. That sounds awesome, though. Okay.
Yeah, that'd be great.
We'll add it to the trailer. We'll add it to the movie list. So moving along, Noah, thanks for joining us. Welcome to the stream, Noah. Let's talk Magic Leap. Ooh, Magic Leap drama. Let's see, has there been any recent Magic Leap drama? You missed it. We were talking about Magic Leap 15, 20 minutes ago. It's one of our favorite topics. We call it Magic Leap drama of the week because there's always something new to talk about it. And the one thing we never get to talk about is a product. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, actually.
We've talked about on everything on this podcast besides the technology. We've talked about the founder. We've talked about them getting sued and them getting
just all sorts of scandals and all sorts of publicity stunts, but still no product.
Nothing, not even a technology, not a hint, not anything like that. And we have an article. You know what, Noah? You'll probably find this interesting since you're on the bandwagon with us. Tuck always gets mad at us. Oh, no, okay. Was it Tuck? Who was it last time who was just calling us HoloLens whores? We were just HoloLens sellouts. Here we go. There you go. I just posted an article for you. That's the article we talked about earlier. It talks about how they don't even know what mixed reality is yet. Okay, good. It wasn't Tuck then. It was one of our other viewers last week. Yeah, where is the dev edition? I don't know. We talk about it. Let's Google it. I'm gonna go to Google News and let's search.
Because you'd think, in this stage of a startup, there's usually a dev edition, but it's like yeah, he proved a very good point because like the HoloLens, there's a dev edition before the rest of the world knows what it is. But with this, like, nothing's been released. That's a good point. That's kind of scary.
$4.5 billion. $4.5 billion in funding, and not even a picture of a product. We give Magic Leap plenty of crap. It's along with everybody. We're on the crap on Magic Leap bandwagon by far, but we got to give it to them for keeping tight lips. I don't think I've ever seen a company have such tight lips and have no leaks or anything like that. Have you?
No, absolutely not. Especially a company that's been they've been speckled with some scandals and some pretty nasty sexual discrimination allegations. I would have thought some insulted or offended employee would have lashed out and said, "Oh, by the way, here's all this." Like the internet would have had a heyday with that. Like,
yeah.
I don't know how they're stopping it.
In a world where movie scripts get released before a movie comes out, and in a world where games are announced way beyond their planned release date and stuff like that, I mean, it's so foreign to have a company keep something tight-lipped, which, to their credit, I'm going to say they've done a fantastic job of it, and to still get reviews and to still have people try it and to still have famous people try it, but yet no pictures. I mean, the fact that, who was it? Was it Beyonce? Who was it that tried it again?
Yeah, it was Beyonce and Ricky Gervais were the two big ones.
To have two people like that and have no press cover that event is very interesting, So as much as we crap on them for not releasing anything, they've done a great job at keeping it pretty close to their stuff, which I think is kind of respectable, to be honest. And that's one of the few respectable things I'm going to find from Magic Leap, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, because I think like Google. I remember we talked a little bit about Google's just like an employee mass email that they sent to everybody about we do not want leaks, we do not want whistleblowers, yada yada yada, and I don't know, they took that stuff very, very seriously.
And their NDAs are actual like NDAs. Like, there's one guy that broke his NDA. He was the basketball player. You remember that article forever ago, like three or 4 weeks ago? He was the first person to kind of, I'm not going to say he broke his NDA, but he probably walked a very fine line of what he was supposed to talk about with his NDA. And that was pretty dramatic because he said some things that are not, he doesn't fully understand. You know what I mean? It's very dangerous, and I think that was a big flaw on Magic Leap's part. Well, I guess they couldn't really control what he was going to say, but this is where they walk a fine line, and this dangerous line of showing it to very famous people like Ricky Gervais and Beyonce, people that don't understand technology correctly, because people have said they're bored with it, and some people, they're sure their minds are blown it, but they don't understand why their minds are blown with it. They're not in the scene and stuff like that. It's almost a cheap shot, you know. At the same time, it's dangerous where it bites them in the butt like Beyonce, and then it bites them in the butt where this basketball player comes along and he starts saying stuff he doesn't fully understand, like it's tracking his eye movement, and I don't know, he had some pretty fantastic statements, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. And maybe that's why Magic Leap has been showing it to basketball players. Because what the heck's a professional basketball player gonna know about, you know, MR technology? Because like he said, you know, like you said, he said some very, you know, interesting stuff, he made some pretty hefty statements, but at the same time, he doesn't know enough about it to explain it.
And to understand what he's saying.
To be a threat, you know?
Exactly. And, well, I mean, it is kind of a threat because he's saying these things under that he's tried it, and now Magic Leap has to kind of come back and either release some sort of information. They have to say either, no, that's not true, or yes, that is true, and they're not going to give up any of that information. So it's kind of dangerous. And you're right. Why aren't they inviting people like in the community? I wouldn't say us. We're not big enough to get invited, but people like Sean Ong and I don't know. I can't name any more right off the top of my head right now, but Sean Ong would be a great person. I would love to see a Sean Ong versus Magic Leap video. Would you not?
Or Panos Panay, like Ravi. Ravi was the one that called us HoloLens whores.
Oh yeah, it was Ravi. Okay, okay, good.
This is not a calling out or out of anger to Ravi. It was just funny being called HoloLens whores by a 15-year-old.
A sellout. Yeah, which we are a little bit, granted. So 6 to 8 billion actually. Okay, so you're right. Okay. All right, sorry. There's been a lot of comments. Let me go through and read some of these. Look up Graham Devine's definition. Okay, that one actually cites it in the article, and we were talking about that earlier, and we were talking about how his definition of mixed reality is very different than everybody else's, which is a whole other topic that we got into in our last podcast, if you're interested in nomenclature and how we really need to define these terms now. That's a great, podcast 19 is great for that. Tuck says, everyone else has a dev edition. He's very right. Nobody's really released consumer editions. Some people have, but not everyday consumers. But most everybody has dev editions. No Magic Leap dev device. Noah says 6 to 8 billion actually. Yeah, I mean, it changes so fast. It's an insane amount of money that they have. They keep their cards close to their chest, just like we're talking about, because they're spending the money on litigation. That's funny. There was a leaked PDF in 2013. I have an idea for your guys' podcast. You should read off of the subreddit. You might find more respect for Magic Leap. Magic Leap subreddit? I didn't know Magic Leap had a subreddit. Forever ago.
Challenge accepted. Respect for Magic Leap. I think it's worth doing just because there's possible respect in there.
Magic Leap Reddit. All right. Okay, here we go. We're here. 19 online now, 3,000 subscribers. We go to the HoloLens subreddit a lot, and we came to this Magic Leap one quite a while ago, but there was no involvement from the community.
It's grown quite a bit, yeah.
Episode number 4, something is up. Okay, can't wait till I see episode number 5. Oh, Noah, I see you right there. You're posting stuff. 2 days till Comic-Con. This doesn't look like Magic Leap. Weeda Workshop is working on something epic. Okay. We'll probably cut this out of the final version, so people here for the live stream are getting an exclusive taste of what's going on. Okay. I'm seeing a lot of stuff about everything but Magic Leap. The smartphone is eventually going to die, and Apple, Google, Microsoft, Facebook are racing to kill it. It was a great topic we talked about last week about the death of the phone. Last week's podcast was a great podcast if you guys are interested in any of this stuff. Veteran Apple analyst says Apple glasses are coming mid-2020 at $1,300 and will begin replacing iPhones over the next 10 years. That's a really bold statement.
Yeah, that they've given an explicit time now.
Yeah,
that's very interesting.
Veteran Apple analyst. Mid-2020 at $1,300. Oh, dude, I'd take that bet, you know. I'll take that bet. You know...
Yeah, it seems plausible. What were you going to say?
2020 seems pretty soon for an Apple AR headset, though, because I feel like they're going to run AR kit for all it's worth. I guess it depends. You know, that number's very variable. It depends on the reception to AR kit and how consumers like it, because developers and tech enthusiasts are very excited about AR kit, but we have yet to see much consumer reaction to AR kit, and I think that's like the key to missing that, and to AR and MR in general. Apple AR. Hey, Noah, I'm seeing a lot here about everything but Magic Leap. Okay, here's a hands-on. All right. Sorry for the dead air, guys. I'm just reading this big article. I'll post it in the chat so everybody knows what I'm reading through.
There are a lot of interesting things on this subreddit. Just like you said, just like all these predictions and stuff. It's really interesting. Just like stuff that you don't normally see anywhere else on the internet, or that we've been able to find, you know?
Go to page 2. There are a lot of those. Here, I can link something. Yeah. No, go ahead. Feel free to leak anything you want. This is our segment of the podcast that we normally cut out of the final version. Or at least condense it down.
So if you're here, this is just something extra because you're awesome.
Yes, so this was our why everybody should have everybody should join us for the live stream. Important points. I didn't even check our Twitch. I hope no comments came through on our Twitch stream. Oh well. All right, let's continue on. Okay, important points. It is kind of demos used a completely different type of technology from what Magic Leap ultimately wants to build. Great thing to demo. Let's just demo something wildly different than what we're going to be selling. That's just great. Granted, the HoloLens demo looked pretty funky only a couple months before they released the HoloLens, so I don't know. It is kind of like a helmet. It is very bulky and very heavy. Several cables. Oh, this is all old news. This is all old news.
Like from how long ago?
Like, I mean, we've known a lot of this stuff for like a year now, if not more. The PEQ was not finished. It was just a bunch of circuit boards and chips. Okay, yeah. Yeah, old news, buddy. Yeah. All right, so we're looking for... So, actually, if Noah, if you're interested, you probably already know this, but the best place to find up-to-date... the best place to find... Magic Leap information is actually right off their site. They have a blog that's where you're going to get all the breaking news about it. They don't post anything that hasn't. There's going to be no news that hasn't already been said on their blog. I'll go ahead and link to that right now. Actually, we can keep this.
I'm curious how detailed do they get in their blog? What do they talk about? Like office Christmas parties and
not detailed
pillow fights?
Not detailed at all, actually. I wish, dude. That would be awesome. I'd say 1, maybe 2 posts a year. Shut up.
A year?
Yes.
That's crazy.
Here you go. I'll let you get to it. I'll post this in the chat for everybody that's interested. Dun, 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 dun. Yes, so for all you listeners out there, if you guys are interested in Magic Leap stuff, that blog is their best place for it. Ronnie's Twitter is also a decent place for it, even though he reposts mostly random stuff that has nothing to do with his own stuff. Ronnie
is just kind of I don't know. He's really spacey, because if you go to that article that we posted about the Magic Leap not knowing what VR is,
Yes.
or what MR is. I'm sorry, that just about got really bad for us. That article, like one of the last pictures of the slides that he has, it says conclusions at the very top of his slide, and like right in the middle of everything is cats always win. And then it just keeps going, more bullets, more bullets, more bullets. But
Is that a quote from him?
I guess so, because like in the middle of his slide is a bullet that literally says cats always win.
Dude, he knows what's up. He's a freaking visionary. Whatever he did to raise billions of dollars, he's doing it right, and he is killing the game. And let's hope he just kills the technology. Let's hope he's as good at building something as he is as he is at raising money. I don't know. We're excited for Magic Leap stuff. Sadly, it kind of gets old news and repetitive. Oh, yeah, it was Graham. Okay. So that was one of their lead developers that work for Magic Leap.
Oh, it was Graham. Okay, but regardless, why? So it must seem that like all these, I don't know, just off-color comments like that's par for Magic Leap then, because Ronnie Abovitz is famous for supporting unicorns, and Graham believes that cats always win.
Dude,
I mean,
cats always win. Who knows? Who knows?
Bless Magic Leap's heart, man. I mean, love them or hate them, they've raised more money than I'll possibly ever make in my entire life. But
Not just make, but witness. That's so much money.
witness in my entire life, yeah. Jeez.
They want creative people. You know, everybody wants creative people. And we're not crapping on Graham for what he says, or those kind of or his developers or Ronnie. You know, it's just different than what we expected. You know, and there's nothing necessarily wrong with it being different. It's just different than what we expected. We're just ready for a product. No, our best way to sum up our feelings is we're ready for a product, and we feel like there's been a lot of fluff. A lot of fluff. We feel like Magic Leap comes up with a lot of different ways to say the same thing, which is a product is coming and it's going to change the world. And there's lots of different ways that they're saying that, and a lot of different ways to get around it. So I won't search for it live. I'll find it later, though, buddy. There's a lot of different ways to say that, and they have found basically every other way possible without showing us a product or what is going to change the world. So I'm really excited. I don't know. That's basically the conclusion. After every Magic Leap drama, we come to the same conclusion, which is we're excited to see something. We just want to see it, right?
Yeah, at this point, like, I don't even care what it is. I just want to see something so I can finally sleep at night.
So we can stop losing sleep. That'd be a funny video.
Yeah.
Alex is just like awake for days at a time thinking about Magic Leap.
Hey, Eric, can you sleep? No, man, I can't.
Thinking about
Magic Leap hasn't released anything yet. I know, bro.
I can't either. They just like call each other. That's a pretty funny video. We could work that into something, I imagine.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So I guess that's probably a good place. We always wrap up with our weekly Magic Leap drama. I think that's probably a good as place as ever to go ahead and put this one to rest. You want to go ahead and give us a closing words, and then I'll close us out?
Yeah, absolutely. So thanks to everybody who joined today. We had a pretty dang good turnout. We had a lot of buzz in the comments, and that's always very enjoyable. I mean, you know, whether it's over Magic Leap or maybe one day we'll talk about quantum physics and how to teleport things. But, you know, it's always fun. It's always fun being able to, you know, hop on the podcast and have a few guys that like to give their 2 bits. So, you know, thanks you guys so much. And if you guys have friends that like doing stuff like this, you know, invite them on. And also to you guys, I know we've been pushing this quite a bit lately. If you guys want to be on the podcast, let us know. You know, let us know through DMs on YouTube or on our Twitter or on our email. I mean, we're not that hard to get a hold of, and we would be more than happy to have you guys on. But yeah, you know, thanks. I mean, so a lot of the reason we have fun is because of you guys.
Exactly. All right. Well, let me go ahead and start this little closing out song like I always do. Let me get this stuff up. It's kind of a sad song. We kind of want a pump-up song, right?
Yeah, man. Or are you just sad, or are you depressed from there still being no product from Magic Leap?
Oh, I'm so sad about that. But I now found a pump-up song, so I'm feeling good. Alright, well, thank you guys for joining us for this podcast. This has been episode number 20. This has been a live stream one. Go ahead and join us next week, Monday, around the same time as tonight. If you're listening to the pre-recorded version, thank you for making it this far. We do it for you. The ones that make it to the end of our videos and the ones that make it to the end of our podcasts. You guys are the special ones, and you guys are the ones we do it for. Thank you guys so much. Our community is growing every day, and the stronger the technology gets, and the more prevalent the technology gets, we just grow with that. So you guys are at the cutting edge right now, and there's so much progress to be made. And we thank you guys so much for joining us. We do this only for you, and it's been a blast. We'll catch you guys next week. This has been the Holo Herald podcast, signing off. See you next week.
Thanks, guys.
Hold on a second. We're still live.
I'm back into town.
I didn't know you left town.
Thank you.